Joining us now is political commentator, journalist, and senior advisor to the DGA Group, Chris Cillizza. Chris, great to have you here. Two picks I've got to talk to you about. Let's start with RFK, because that's the breaking news just in the last hour. RFK Jr. has no medical training or education, and he would now be in charge of the CDC, the FDA, the NIH. It's an incredible selection here.
Yeah, you know, it's so funny, Elizabeth, in a vacuum, I'd say, holy cow, I can't believe it. But given what's happened over the last 24, 40 hours, I'm like, no, okay, that makes some sense. Look, I just went back quickly because I knew we'd talk about this. I just went back quickly and looked, you know, on October 28th at the Madison Square Garden rally that Trump held, he said he'd let, quote, Kennedy go wild on the healthcare system. On October 30th, Kennedy claimed on a call that Trump had already promised him the Department of Health and Human Services. In his victory speech at Mar-a-Lago on November 6th, Trump devoted a long peroration to Kennedy, you know, that he'd let him do whatever the hell he wanted in Trump's words. So, like, I can't register shock because I feel like Trump is doing what Trump told us he would do. And the fact that the political establishment in both parties are freaked out is kind of the point.
Yeah. You know, listen, we spend in this country $4.5 trillion on health care, and we are not a healthy country. There are a lot of people who agree something needs to be done to, quote, make America healthy again, as RFK's been saying on the campaign trail. It sounds really good. But then you have doctors saying his stances on vaccines are dangerous. He says vaccines caused, quote, a Holocaust. And in American Samoa, 83 people died of a measles outbreak after he went there and spoke out against vaccines in general. But officials there say people were simply following him and the anti-vaccine sort of message.
Yeah, I have a friend who is a doctor and who follows politics very closely. And he voted for Kamala Harris, I will say that. But I've been talking back and forth with him via text. He is much more outraged over Robert F. Kennedy Jr. at HHS than he is at Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. Now, some of that, he's a doctor, and he knows, but his view is that Kennedy is genuinely dangerous. And I don't think that is a view that is particularly out of step with the bulk of the medical community. The one thing, Elizabeth, I just want to say one quick thing about the politics of this, because you mentioned Jared Polis, the governor of Colorado, the Democratic governor, coming out and supporting him. I do think there will be like a weird coalition of people who would surprise you, who are going to be for this. Now, I don't know that he's going to get any Democratic senators to vote for his confirmation, but it is not your typical left-right split.
No.
You know, Kennedy definitely, I mean, Trump is a little bit like that, but Kennedy even more so. The guy's been a Democrat, an independent, and a Republican, and that's just in the last 8 months.
Yeah, and listen, a lot of Americans, a lot of people think that something needs to be done about healthcare in this country. Whether or not you agree with his stances on vaccines or that Wi-Fi causes leaky brain, which is something else he has said. I don't think there's any denying we spend too much on healthcare and we're not getting a lot of bang for our buck. So, you know, maybe shaking it up is what it takes. All right, so let's move to Matt Gaetz. There are real concerns about this Gaetz nomination. You can say even by Trump's standards, you said it was a bombshell out of left field. Gaetz practiced law for only 2 years, has never been a prosecutor. Is he really qualified to be the nation's top law enforcement official?
I mean, his top qualification is that he's extremely loyal to Donald Trump. I mean, let's be honest here. That's what Donald Trump is looking at. Here's what I'll say. His background is entirely inconsistent with past people, Democrats and Republicans, who have served in that role. Again, I'm much more skeptical that Gaetz makes it even to a vote, but because he's confirmed than I am that RFK Jr. or Pete Hegseth or Kristi Noem or Tulsi Gabbard, I could see any of them going down. It wouldn't stun me if their nominations failed, but I guess with Gaetz, it would surprise me if it winds up spending a day as Attorney General, just because I think so much of the Senate and politics generally, but is about personal relationships. And I will tell you, Republican elected officials, by and large, loathe Matt Gaetz.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.